Today, we're going to be talking about battle belts. We're going to be going over probably one of the best battle belts that has ever been made. We're going to dive into how I set my belt up for various missions and the essentials that you absolutely want to have on your belt, and more importantly, the things that you never want to have on your belt. We're going to be yakking a little bit about where to place things on your belt depending on what your mission is going to be. Trust me when I tell you, having pain and discomfort while wearing your battle belt, guys, it sucks. We're going to be talking for a few seconds on how to modify some pouches for, alternate uses, a little bit of outside the box thinking. Gents, let me tell you that this video has been 5 years in the making because I am never ever going to recommend anything to you guys out there that I have not put through its absolute toughest, most rigorous tests. For those of you just tuning in, gents, my name is Will. This is the Outdoorsman channel. I make a ton of content here revolving around shit hitting the fan, firearms, preparedness, you name it. There is a video here that you're probably going to like. So be sure to check out my playlists. Obviously, hit that subscribe button and drop a comment on this video or any other video with any input that you guys may have. As I say in every video, situations wait for no man. So let's get right into it. In my experience, there's 3 types of battle belts. Well, there's the battle belt, which is going to contain all the items that you're going to need for combat. Some, weird, strangely closeted sexuals might call it a night belt. You've got your range belt, which is pretty obvious, right? That's the belt that you're going to wear when you go shooting at the range or do any type of training. And then finally, an EDC belt, or everyday carry belt. And this is a belt, whether you carry a firearm or not, this is a belt that you're going to have wrapped around your waist all day, every day. Now, for me personally, I want my battle belt to be easily swapped out for my range belt. Now, this belt right here, guys, I've been running this belt, no bullshit, for 5 years. It shows no signs of wear, no scuffs, no abrasions, a little pilling here or there, but it's held up so incredibly well. I've worn this belt through all kinds of training scenarios, vehicle classes, long-range stuff, pretty much any class you can think of, I've been wearing this belt. How you see this belt set up right here, this is exactly how I'm going to run it at the range or in a combat situation. Now this belt, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm going to read it off my notes so I get it exactly right. This belt is a Warrior Poet Supply Company Molly 1 3/4 double belt rig in multicam. I personally love the Molly loops that go around the entirety of this belt. For a little extra money, you can add the Cobra belt buckle with the attached D-ring, and I find that it's definitely worth a few extra bucks. Now, the only thing that I've actually had break on this belt, full disclosure, is around here, there was a little bit of a, like a retention slide doodad thing. That sumbitch is long gone. So now, after I adjust this, I will just do one single wrap of electrical tape around here and it holds it pretty tight. Now, if you decide to head over to their website and check this belt out, again, not sponsored. I bought this many, many years ago, 5 years ago to be exact, but you'll have an option to add their low profile inner belt. I use this one. We're going to get into this inner belt in a second, but I can't say if their inner belt at Warrior Poet is any good or not. Now, I purchased this belt on September 5th, 2019, and at that time, it was $146.97. And at the time of filming this video, the price on their website is $174.97. So, thanks a lot, Biden. But for 180 bucks, I can literally actually guarantee you that this belt is going to last you at least 5 years. I just want to take a quick second here to show you guys the inside of this belt, all of the hook part of the hook and loop. This belt has been put on and taken off probably close to 300 times. That's no BS. You go ahead and do the math over 5 years. Now, the hook part of the hook and loop, which is these plastic bits, they tend to break down and come loose on a lot of other belts. And just look at it. There's no issues with the hook on this whatsoever. There's no bare spots. There's really no major wear to speak of. This is an incredibly well-built belt. Now I'm going to turn this around here. There'll be some close-ups, but we want to get back to these Molly loops. Let me tell you something. These Molly loops are very tight, but they're not too tight. I have tried dozens of other belts, and what I'm telling you is that this MOLLE, the webbing that's inside here, they put it in so tight that it's damn near impossible to fish anything, down through the MOLLE. I mean, this little mag pouch, and we'll get to what mag pouch this is in a second, but it's in there firm, but it has enough where I can slide it in and out nice and easy. It's just a great feature that I love about it. Let's move on to the buckle here, this buckle, and this is a legit Cobra Pro style belt buckle. And again, I have probably clicked this belt on and off way more than 300 times, probably close to 1,000 times. I have had not one issue with it other than if I'm having a fat day, hey, I kind of got to suck the old fat belly in to be able to unclip the belt. It's more embarrassing than it is a problem. Now, let's talk about how you're going to want to set up your battle belt or your range belt. Now, there's plenty of videos out there on YouTube with different setups, and they're all going to tell you how to do it. But at the end of the day, it's all personal preference. You have to do a little bit of trial and error to figure out what works for you and what doesn't. But I'm going to show you how I set up mine and offer you some advice. But there is one rule, and one rule only, that we do not want to break. It is non-negotiable. It is super important, and I'm going to get to that in just a minute. Now, most setups on these belts, they're going to have some type of setup where it's pistol, pistol, rifle, or pistol, rifle, pistol, or some kind of setup here. For me, that does not work because, again, I do some training. I shoot a lot at the range. I'm not generally going to be wearing a chest rig, which the rule of thumb is if you have a chest rig or a plate carrier, inside that, that's where you're going to put all of your rifle magazines. But for the most part, when I'm at the range, I'm not wearing one of those. So I want to have my rifle magazines on my belt. So I use these, they're called double-decker tacos, these two right here from High Speed Gear. They're amazing. Again, I've had these for about 5 years and have had zero issues with them. They haven't even come loose. I have not had to adjust the tightness on them. Now, the downside to double stacking, pistol and rifle is that it does add a lot of weight and it does pull down on your hips. And because these magazines, they sit so high on my waist, every time I bend over, it's literally a reality check on how big and fat my belly really is. I actually remember doing a vehicle class with a good buddy of mine, and although I didn't feel it at the time after all the rolling around and getting in and getting out of the truck, that night I had bruises all over the side of my fat stomach right here. Holsters. Now, the holster, well, it's the most important piece of equipment that you have on your gun belt, and you do not want to skimp out on buying a good quality holster. And as far as I'm concerned, fight me if you want, Safariland, hands down, makes the best holster available on the market today. Now, I run two different pistols on my belt. This P320 with a flashlight and a red dot, and then I also have a Glock 19 that I run with a pistol and a red dot. Now, some guys do not, under any circumstances, like the drop leg holster. Some people prefer a simple on-the-belt holster with a little strap running around their chunky leg. It's all personal preference. But one thing that you cannot go without, one thing you absolutely need to have is the QLS receiver plate and attachment system. Now, this lets me switch out just by pinching the bottom. I can pull this holster off, takes about 2 seconds. I can grab my other holstered firearm, and all I have to do is just line it up, slide it in, and I have a another firearm ready to go. Both of these holsters have been drawn literally thousands upon thousands of times. I have never had an issue with the QLS system, although I did know one guy at the range one day who had an issue with his. I'm just going to chalk that up to his massive autism. Now, let's revisit that rule that I mentioned earlier. Do not put anything around here on your draw side. Don't be dorking this whole area up. I've seen people put knives here or knives here. I'm like, what the hell are you doing? All that's going to do is get caught on your sleeve or your watch band or whatever you got going on. Just trust me, it's a bad idea. And you're going to end up having a pretty bad day if the shit actually hits the fan. Now, something that I have, well, I have them on every single bag I own, as well as my gun belt here, is these little clips. These are pretty cheap. I bought these little clips on Amazon. You can also buy them at High Speed Gear. They're fantastic. I absolutely love them. If you guys have watched my other videos, you know I'm a huge fan of the mechanics gloves. So it's just nice to be able to, pull your gloves off, run them, and then when you're done at the end of the day, you can clip your gloves back on, and they're always with your belt. So if you've got a running gun, as they say. Your gloves already attached to your belt. Now, on the back of this belt here, you can see this little Velcro plate. Now, this is where my IFAK goes. And obviously, it is not on here right now because I was filming a video about the IFAK and I had to open it. And any of you out there who have opened an IFAK knows it takes about 37 years to actually put it back. In fact, it's a lot easier just to go out and buy another one. But you guys, you don't have to carry an IFAK on your belt. If you're at the range, you're gonna wanna have some, full trauma kit, a dedicated kit, just for that purpose. And I have some videos on building up good trauma kits if you wanna watch those. Around the corner here, I keep this little Streamlight flashlight. I keep it attached to my belt right here because, and the only, it's kind of a stupid thing, but the only reason that I have it is when I go to the range, we have shipping containers that we store all of our targets in. It's dark in there, so I like to have a little flashlight on my belt so I can look around and see what I'm grabbing. All right, let's get into the inner belt real quick. This guy right here. Now, I was doing a little bit of research before I started filming this video, like I do with all, and I actually found out that this company, Blue Alpha Gear, doesn't actually make this belt anymore, which is a shame because this belt is amazing. Again, 5 years old, no problems. You can see here in this shot that there's a little bit of wear around the edges, but the loop side is perfect. It's soft. There's not a lot of pilling happening. It's just great. Now, Blue Alpha, they do sell a low profile inner belt with some kind of a loop that you can, pull it tight on. I can't tell you guys how well this belt is going to perform because I don't own one. But again, this one, we're 5-6 years right now that I've had this belt and it still runs great. Let's talk about pouch placement for just a quick second. Now you want to set your belt up with your pouches in areas that are not going to cause you a lot of discomfort. Pretty much every wannabe YouTuber out there somewhere on their belt has some giant ass Amazon tactical knife or something like that. Why don't you guys send me a message and let me know how that feels when you're sitting in a vehicle or have to roll over on your back for the entire day. The other reason that I like the double stack is that I can pull out the rifle magazines so that they're not, like I said, digging into my fatness. It's the little things like that that make all the difference in the world with comfort. All right, let's get over to this silly pouch here just for a second. Now, this is a cheapo crapo Amazon double stack mag pouch, and I have just repurposed it on this belt to hold a radio. I can actually take this SH radio and I can slide it right in there. It doesn't press the buttons or whatever. I don't always carry a radio on me. I just happen to need this radio because we were doing a training thing where we needed to have patrol style radio. Now, fully loaded, all mags loaded, radio or whatever, magazine here, pistol here. This belt rings in at about 3.5 pounds. So we really need to think about the weight, especially if we're moving around a lot or we're out doing a patrol. That weight on your hips, it starts to get incredibly painful. A lot of my military guys watching, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And guys, I'm not gonna bullshit you. Wearing a belt for an extended amount of time, it's gonna be uncomfortable. And you're never gonna get your setup 100% comfortable or 100% right. Sometimes you just have to suck it up and be a man. And the only way you're gonna know if any of this setup really works is to try it out. If you're patrolling or whatever, get in and out of your truck multiple times to see how it feels. For my low T guys out there, in and out of your car.
Hey, fuck you, man!
I'm just kidding. It's okay to own a car. You're going to want to get down into that prone position from time to time because we do actually shoot from the prone position. I got to harp on it again because apparently people don't get it. You could have all the most expensive stuff in the world. It doesn't mean shit if you don't know how to use it. You got to train with this stuff. Just remember, chicks dig guys who have Gucci gear and know how to use it. All right, gunslingers, before you go, make sure you've hit that like button. Do yourself a favor and click it. I'm going to be honest with you guys. Trump is probably not going to deport you for not liking this video, but you never know. He might be watching, so why take the chance? And also don't forget your battle belt is also no good to you if you're not in good shape. For this entire year, I'm working very hard on my physical fitness, because RFK Jr. is now the head of Health and Human Services. Pretty sure he'll come knocking on my door if I don't get it together. He does have a point though. Beef tallow, friggin' amazing. If you got something out of this video, please hit that share button. Help others level up too. Also, drop a comment with your thoughts or tips. I really do read and respond to every single comment. While you're at it, make sure you subscribe. Trust me, guys, you do not want to miss what we have coming up. So I'll see you next time.